Get yourself a little clean place to do this. I just put towels over all my junk so you don't see it. But when you work on these for the first time, or any time, I don't even care, I would suggest you take pictures of what this carburetor looks like and how these levers are hooked up on either side. See, like this is the pump for the front. See how the little bracket goes, I mean the little clip goes. Everything, just in case you forget. And these are not that hard anyway, but beside the point. Oh, this one happens to have a tag. If you can save the tag, put it back on there, because it tells you exactly what kind of carburetor this is. See, this says C5ZFC, and it's got other numbers on the bottom here. I just know so far that the second letter 5 is 65 and the letter Z means Mustang. So this is a Ford carburetor made for Mustang. This is the 4100 Autolite 4100, and the two barrel would be 2100. And those 2 barrels, they put them on everything. The 4 barrels, not so much. But they put it on this Mustang because it's a GT. So I bought myself a kit. It says high grade carburetor repair kit. So it comes with all the parts. I don't know how many of these parts I'm going to use, because the only problem I have with this carburetor is that it leaks from the front. Other than that, it works really good. But the other thing is, it comes with a diagram. So if you're not familiar, I would take a good look at this diagram so you know basically how everything goes together. And they have labels, like here's 11 and 14. That'll be, this guy here is that's the front, so that'd be 14. This guy back here would be 11. So if you look over here, it says Venturi cluster assembly primary. That would be the front one. 14, Venturi cluster assembly secondary. That's for the back 2 barrels. But anyway, this will tell you everything you need to know about it. There's also some how to adjust the floats, how to adjust the choke, and then it has other information on the back, specification charts. We look at 1965 289 high performance. So it says float level for the primary 29/64, secondary 29/64. Choke pull down is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so that it tells you everything that's in there. So I'll keep that up here in case. Oh, so what I want to know is, why is this thing leaking in the front? What is down here? We have this thing that says, what's a 34? 34 is a cover pump diaphragm. Okay, that's this guy. How about this one on the bottom here? What do you think that would be? Oh, here, that's number 41. Cover, economizer valve. What's 42? Gasket cover, 43. 43. Economizer valve and washer assembly. So those are the things that I'm looking for that are causing my problem. The other things are not. And the car runs good. There's nothing wrong with it. It just leaks gas. And I'm just afraid to drive it when it's leaking gas. So here's the bottom. Okay, so this is the front of the carburetor. So when you step on the gas, these front ones open, and when the vacuum kicks in, then the 4 barrel kicks in, the full 4. So this is really sucking gas, giving you a lot of power and speed and a lot of fun. See, but if I listen to this, I can hear the, Oh, secondary diaphragm. See, you can hear it moving. So I doubt there's anything wrong with that. You got to remember, this car only has 4,500 miles on it, so nobody ever used it. Okay, so I'm going to start right here. Something is causing my problem, and it is leaking. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to scratch this. Maybe I'll mark it. But that marking won't stay on long, but I'm going to, just in case it goes on some way. Okay. So I just look at here, I don't see anything. Here's the gasket. Economizer valve and washer assembly. So, and they gave us one. Okay, so I'm going to change that. I don't have the right socket. I tried a 1" and 1 1/8 and it didn't work. So this is not the right tool, not recommended. But since this is my carburetor, I will use these pair of pliers. Okay. There it is. And this one seems to work pretty good too. And there's the little rubber gasket underneath. There's the one they gave us to replace it. So we'll put this on the side because I want to save all these old parts. The other thing that bothered us was this thing right here, and this is the number 34 cover pump diaphragm. Okay, so it is either, this car was either leaking from here or from here. Alright, let's take off this first one right here. I need to take this clip off. Let's hold it here, maybe it'll be a little bit more stable. So push this lever down a little bit. I guess they don't want you taking that off. Okay, so I got that off. Here's what it looks like, and it goes right here on that arm. So now here's the next thing. There's 4 spots, 1 2 3 4, where that arm was located. So I'm going to mark it, but I'm also going to mark it on my board. I'm just going to draw a diagram of 4 circles and put one as an X so I know, because that's going to be important. So when you step on the gas, this carburetor, which was set by Ford, the second one hooks to this guy here. So have to remember that's important. Okay, I will just take this rod off and set that, but we know where that's going to go because you took pictures. Alright, so let's look at this thing here. Ooh, took that off too fast. Uh-oh, now we got to figure out what we're doing. Okay, so this goes here. And this one goes here. So it goes like that. Okay, and then that little wear spot comes from this thing right here, the lever arm, because you can see it's got wear spots there. So that's how that goes. Just to make sure. So if I take it apart and leave it, I'm going to leave it like this so I know how that went on. Okay, this thing needs to be replaced too, but I got to take the top of the carburetor off to do that. So, and put everything in groupings so you know. Everything you can do to help you remember is the right thing. Especially if you're going to take it apart and wait for parts. If you're going to just do it right away, it's a different story. Okay, now one more thing. I know I shouldn't do this, but I am because I'm too lazy to walk over it. And get the right wrench. Okay, so that's what we have so far. That's not a problem. Boy, it's going to be hard all the way to the end. Well, I don't know how much you missed, but this was on here, and what was holding the top cover from coming off was this little rod that goes through here, and that was connects the choke butterfly. So what I was saying, I'm very careful to take these gaskets off just in case something happens. I have the old one. You just never know. And most of the time they come up with no trouble at all. Just one or two hard spots, but that's okay. We'll just take our time. There, see? Perfect. Okay. To take these floats out, it's held in with a little clip here, right there. Then it just falls right in place. So I'm going to, oh, I don't have it. So I'm going to do it this way. You see there. Push that forward, over the top, so that spring stays. This one will go over the top of the seat. This little spring goes next to this wall, and that helps the float. It stabilizes it, so when you go over bumps and stuff like that, it just doesn't jerk so bad, you know. And I shake it, and I hear nothing. So, oh, here's the needle, there's the seat, okay? So I'm going to replace those. So I'm going to do the same thing for the back. Run that clip right over the top of that seat. Alright, now I keep the back one to the back parts, the front float to the front parts, and make sure, because I don't know if they're different and I'm not taking any chances. Okay, so next thing we have is the seat. So let me get something to get that out of there with. I got a what is this, 3/8. So it comes with a little gasket right there, and this is a brass fitting. So what I'm going to do is take, well, don't worry about it, take that needle and that seat, and I'm going to tape these together so that they know, so I know that's a set. And I'm going to say front. FR. Okay, just in case. They gave me a new needle and seat, everything else, so we'll put that on there. But first of all, I bought this nasty cleaner, degreaser. I couldn't find carburetor cleaner, so this is as close as I get. So since I am not going to soak this carburetor, usually people take these all apart and soak them in solution, wash them out, everything else. The cheater way is to use these degreaser sprays. Whoa. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, make sure you're wearing safety glasses like I am, or else this stuff is going to, you're not going to like it get in your eyes. So I spray it all over the place. So since that is a passage, I sprayed it so it would be nice and clean. Okay? Okay, so here's the two jets right down in here. So I'm going to leave those alone. I'm not having trouble with these at all. The car runs perfect. So I'm not going to change the jets. What I'm going to do is just take some cleaner and I'm going to spray it down in the jet. Okay. In fact, I will do the same thing for the rear ones. Like I say, this carburetor runs perfect. See, and you can see when I screw it in here, it comes right out. Watch. Watch it come over there. Nope, not that time. See, it goes right into the Venturi. Comes right out of the sides, so you know that's all clean. The other thing I want to do is take the back seat out. Okay. So and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the needle from the back float, put it in here so we have a needle and seat. So what really wears out here is this little piece of neoprene or whatever, and then it goes down in that hole. So when the float lifts up, it lets gasoline come into the carburetor. Then when it doesn't need anything, it closes it. So just up and down motion. So I'll just tape that together. Back. Okay, I'm going to keep this oriented to the front so I know what's going on here. So let's take these Venturi cluster assemblies off. Okay, so well, all these holes, see, this is where all the holes come. You have to clean all these holes. So what I will do, and then there's these letters here. Let's see, this one says C, oh, FC. Then a 5 over here. Is that a 5? Yeah, and a 2 over there. Don't know exactly what that means, but if you're the guy who designed this carburetor, you will know. So what I'm going to do is just take this spray and just clean everything here. And you can see it comes out all over. Front, back, sides. So you know that all these passages are clean. So you just see. So it lights up here, lights up over here, goes into Venturi's. So we know that this is okay. So there's a little rod here. And down inside there's a little check ball. So there. Don't lose that baby. Okay? So, once again, I'm going to spray in all these passages. Clean everything out. Okay, since there's nothing out of the ordinary there, they gave me extra. They gave me one of these. It's exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is put the new one in there. I just drop it in. Okay, it's in there. Put this stem in here, and then I'll get a new gasket. Just like the old one. So I'll just put the old gasket there. Ooh. Ooh. That's okay, it wasn't the ball. That's the main thing. Okay, there's the gasket. Here is the primary Venturi cluster assembly. Yeah, I just don't do this all the time, so I don't remember all these names. Okay, wiggle that into position. Now, you take the main bolt, and you see it has a hole in the center, and that's where that rod goes. So, just move it till the rod comes in the center. And just tighten this in place. Now remember, don't over crank this, because you know this is aluminum. You don't want to break this. You break this, you're buying a new carburetor. Okay, so let's do the secondary one. So this is the secondary, the back ones. They're a little bit different, but the same. So notice this one does not have a hole in there. the bolt, and it doesn't have a rod, it doesn't have a check ball. So just ease this right out of there. See, it's just, everything looks really good. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing. We notice all these are, if you look through the light, you can see these holes are all clean, but let me, remember, wear safety glasses. So you can see it come firing right out of there. I'll clean these. 2 little holes. Holes in the Venturi, but see, this carburetor is not dirty, or else some of these wouldn't work. So I shot the cleaner in every hole that I could find. The 2 here, and I put it in here, and it cleaned all these. But you can see just by looking at it, there's nothing wrong. So let me get a gasket. The only bad thing is this carburetor cleaner sucks the oil off your hands. So what I end up doing is using my wife's hand lotion to get back some of that oil. Yeah, I guess they give you more gaskets than you need, just because if it's a little bit different carburetor, there, that one fits perfect. This is the Venturi. Venturi cluster assembly secondary. So it's the same, but it's a little different. Okay, so but let's do the opposite. Let's see, it goes like this. I'll put this gasket on and put it past that little point and this little point there. Now it fits in there real nice, tight. So now, and this surface is flat. See, so they're just a little different. Okay, screw, no hole in it. Remember, don't over tighten this stuff. Alright, so now let's start with the secondary and put the new needle and seat in there. Here's how it comes, right here. So here's the needle and seat that they gave us. Here's where it goes. So let us carefully, so we don't lose the parts. Okay, so this is, right, so this is the new seat. There's the gasket that goes on there. Ooh, so just, there you go. Start these by hand. If you strip this, you're buying another carburetor. Okay, I got it started. Okay, so this one doesn't have threads on. So what I want to do is get a bigger screwdriver. The reason I want to get a bigger screwdriver is because if I use a small one, I only have to do it on one side. If I use the bigger one, it will go on both sides. It connects the, goes across, all the way across the seat. So that's tight enough. Don't want to overdo this stuff. Alright, now the next thing is, you'll notice how this comes off. Now remember, if you're not sure, take a picture, okay? So you will remember. Alright, so that's the way the float goes, but you have to put You gotta put this little clip, which of course is a hassle here, but no big deal. We'll get it. Alright, hang on, let me look at this for a second. That goes the clip. Okay, so that's what I mean about saving this stuff. I had to go look back. So this needle goes around, goes around the top, and it has the hanger points, because the hanger goes right there. Okay. In fact, that should go over the top like that. Alright. Now, when we insert this, this goes in the seat. Like that. That's all. And then, as you need gas, that means the bowl will be low, the seat opens up and the gas rushes in, and then as it slowly gets up to the top, it closes off the gas. So it only lets in what it uses. Right? So to secure the float, oh wait a minute, we forgot, made a mistake. Got this guy. This goes like this, and you can see it. Little spring goes against this wall here. We almost didn't get it in there. So you drop the seat in there. The needle goes inside the seat, and here you go. Now, to secure that, once again, you have to take that little rod and push it on the other side of the seat, because it's got a little clip there that holds it. See, now it's held into position. Okay, so that is the rear. Now let's do the front. Now we're going to put the needle in the seat in the front, the primary. So what we decided on the last time, we're not going to use these new brackets because there's nothing wrong with ours, and we need this little clip. And that goes on the needle itself. So it comes from the back side here and slips in there. Now you can see it, and this is where the float hangs, right there. So alright, so it just hangs right here, just like that. But we're going to leave that for a second. Let's put in the seat. And it goes right in there. You start them by hand, you never have a problem. Now here is that little there's a little ring here, groove cut into this. See, and that's where the clip for the float goes. Now I'm going to use a bigger screwdriver because I want to be able to cross both sides. Don't want to strip that. That's enough. Not too much. Okay. The next thing is the float. So we have the needle. It goes on the lip there. try it this way. Put it on there. Put the clip down. Okay. Now we gotta, don't forget this other spring, because it goes on the end of that rod underneath the float, and this thing, this portion of it is against this back wall. Okay, so now that sets in, the lever falls right in the slot, working real nice and easy. The next thing is to take that screwdriver and push that rod, the bracket, alongside the seat, and it falls into that little groove. Okay, so that is the floats. They're in there. Alright, now I'm going to set the floats. So, what they're telling you in the diagram here is from the bottom of the float to the top of the casting. Alright, and so you put your finger down here, lift the float up, and measure the distance. Now, for this one's a 289. It says 1/2 inch for a float level for primary, and secondary is 1732. So let's look. So I set the gauge in there. I put my finger down, set it here, and look what it says. No, hang on. This is 32s, so you gotta use 32 one. Push it down, not too hard, just enough. And this one says 1632. So you measure a little bit in, and then you measure to the top of this casting. And I get 1632, which is 1/2 inch. So, and most of the time, it's that the float is level. Okay. Now, how do you adjust it if it's not right? Well, you bend this tab right here. You bend this tab. If it's you bend it this way or bend it up, one of the two, depending on which way you want the float to go. Now, I would suggest, since you don't do this all the time, I would take it out because if you put a lot of pressure on that seat, the needle in the seat, you'll crush that or damage that neoprene tip on there. So until you get to do this a couple times, I usually just take it back out. But since this is all set, and when I went to look at the other one, the secondary, it was the same thing. The secondary says 17. So I look over here, there's 18. I ain't touching it. Close enough. I can't get 1/16 of an inch anyway. So anyway, once again, you would just take that tab right there and just bend it one way or bend it the other way. Alright, so that takes care of the floats. They're all in. Now let's go to the area that we were having trouble with. The end part here. Okay. So what do they call that? They call that the 34. What is that? Diaphragm pump. Okay. Alright. Okay, so it has this little rubber piece in here. Diaphragm. Oh, well, looks like it's pretty well. Deteriorated, but that's okay. We got a new one. So it goes right in that little hole. Just like that. And I'm going to push it till it seats in there. Okay, so it's not seating in there. What I'm going to do See, it's got, interesting, I don't know if you can see this or not, it's got a little lip here, so it's got to go over the top of that. So what I will do, so I just put a little oil on there to lubricate that rubber up, so I can put it in that hole and push it in there. See, now it went all the way through and stayed there. And you can see on the inside, right in here, see, here it is sticking right out. Okay, so the next thing that goes in there is the spring, and this goes over the top, goes right in here, goes right over here. Now just fits right on there, and there's 4 screws that hold it on. Don't over tighten these, they don't have to be done like that. Alright, press the lever, works great. Okay, here's the cover for here. Now, I hear a lot of people say that these things warp a little bit. I put a little file and I couldn't get it, it looked like it was fairly straight, but this is where it was leaking for me, the carburetor. So once again, I use this RTV gasket maker. I don't know if it's recommended, but I don't care because it always works for me. My carburetor, my car, my choices. Okay, so I'll just let that dry just a touch, and then I have to put the economizer valve in. It comes with a washer. So, and see, it's brand new, so it moves really nice and easy. Set it right in there. I'm going to look and see if the gasket's seated all the way around. So just have to tighten this up. I know this is not the right tool, but this is what I have available. So that's good and tight. Now we'll put the cover back on, and I remember I scratched it and marked it, so it'll be over here, so it's going to be in the exact same spot. Put that on there, put the screws in the same place all together, so I know that these guys are the ones that came out of these holes. Okay, so I'll just tighten them crossways. Remember, don't power them down. Okay, perfect. That takes care of that. So on this side is the secondary diaphragm assembly. Now here it is, but this one seems to be working really good, but since they gave it to us, we have the carburetor off. We might as well just replace it. There, came right up. Okay, here it is. and it has this little pin right here that goes down in that shaft. See if this little pin comes off. No, it does not. See, because it comes with a piece of plastic that hooks into that will hook into here. Well, what I'm going to do, since I don't have any problem with the current one that's on there, I'm going to put it back on. So I hook it on there, push it down. The gasket's perfect, nothing wrong. And I'll just set this right back on there. Everybody lines right up. Okay, so when we crank open the 4 barrels, this gets on vacuum, and you can hear that it's still working really good. So, but to replace that, you have to drill out that pin, take this lever out, and then you got to put a plastic one. I don't want to put a plastic one in there. All right, the last thing let's look at the choke. In fact, you know what? I'm going to wait until I get it on the car and then adjust it. All right, looks like we have everything ready, everything to go. We need to hook this to okay, there's the lever arm. Then it goes to the throttle here, and remember it goes in number 2, because remember we marked it, we kept track of it. So just have to hold this and squeeze that clip right back on there. Now they gave us a new one, so let's try the new one. Oh, come on. Put it on there. Second hole, push it up and squeeze that down. There, look at that, worked perfect. See? Oh, that's it. Oh yeah, worked perfect. Yeah, sure it did. There's the rod all the way in there. Okay, so there it is. No, okay. I gotta do it again. I'm doing it wrong. Doesn't look very good. Where's the old one? What do I do with it? So they gave us 2 of them, so let's try another one. Okay. Okay, so we're all done. We did everything we're going to do. I'm going to put this gasket on. It covers all the holes. All right. So okay, here's a little rod that comes up, comes through the side, and that will hook up to the choke plate, but we'll do that last. So we'll put this one in, and I'll put this back one in, and that's it. Because what I'm going to do is these carburetors, what you can do is once the car is running, you can open the top, take the top off, and check the floats and check the level. So that's what we're going to do. Now there's another thing. There are a couple guys on the internet that do these, that do a far better job than I do. The first guy, his name is Manic Carburetor, and the second one is Autorestomod Maniac. But what I'm going to do is I will list these guys down on the inside the description in case you wanted to go check those guys out for even more detailed information on how you do this. Because remember, I did not take this whole thing apart because it was running fine. It just was leaking, and it seemed to be just this bottom number 41 cover, economizer valve. So, and I glued it on too. So hopefully that'll stop. So, okay, so let's go put this carburetor on. The only parts around are just the top screws that are excess. So all the other ones, I'll just put them in that box. The gauge, oh, we'll take a look at the gauge. But anyway, so let's go put this on the car.